You're tired of being unprofitable because you're making more losses than profits? Or maybe you have a good strategy that's even already profitable, but you have two big losses in between? Maybe you're also holding break-even losses and profits, but you need to control your losses in order to become profitable. All these cases, if you meet one of them, you're definitely right. In this video, we are gonna talk about how to control your losses, to improve your strategy to become profitable or to become even more profitable. So let's start and talk about it now. You have, of course, as always, different options. You can say, okay, doesn't work, don't want to care about it anymore. Let's jump to the other one or to the next one. But the thing is, you're probably then jumping to the next and never ending story, and you won't find a strategy that you feel comfortable with and you have trust in. So what do instead? We take a closer look at this existing strategy, and in this case, exactly at the losses. So we want to take a closer look at exactly one thing that we want to change. Sometimes it's only this one thing that decides about being profitable or not, about doing the great profits or just holding break even. This is not magic, it's sometimes just a little adjustment that you have to do in order to become successful. So what options do we have to look at the losses or to influence the losses? And of course, the most obvious one, we have the stop order. Could be a stop loss as well. So you, of course, can take a closer look at your stop order, at your stop loss. Is it too close or is it too far away, for example? Just to show you a really simple example, but that's really the best to make clear. So, for example, we're in an upwards movement, a really clear uptrend, and you're putting your stop loss below the last lows. But you don't want to give away too much space, and you're putting it too close below. So that way you're moving maybe your stop loss, even putting it up there, and then the market is moving, making its movement, and then touching, going through, and then going back up. So the markets don't always do the exact movements again. There's always volatility in the market, and of course it can touch through and then go even farther. So in this case, you just had your stop loss too close and didn't leave enough space for the market to develop. Other way around, if you say, okay, I leave out this stop loss, I don't want to put it too close. So at this point of the market, I don't want to put it up here, I don't want to move it. I still leave it down here with the space. And then, of course, if the market doesn't go further up and decides to go through, this is a big performance that you give away, even though you were in the right trading direction before. So in this case, for example, if you would have entered the market here, and you were already in big profits, but then you gave away all these profits and even ended with a minus. So in this case, the stop loss was too far away. So if you would have moved it up here, then you would have had enough space in case the market comes a little bit lower than the last support and resistance area, for example. So you leave enough room But in case the market drops, you get out at a level where you still have profit and not a loss. So you see, it's just a simple adjustment that can decide about one trade ending in a loss or a profit. The exact same trade. So you really have to take a closer look at your strategy and which stop order is working best for it. Easy adjustment, so let's see what options you have also. Of course, there's also the option of the timing. And sometimes people stay too long in the market, for example. They would exit the trade after a specific time, for example. Then there is a higher possibility that the trades end better or are being more profitable. So an example of this timing could be if my trade doesn't work out after 1 hour, I'm closing it. For example, could be a strategy adjustment that can be profitable. Of course, you have to analyze it before, have to test it if this is an adjustment that works for your strategy. But I've seen many strategies that, for example, work with timing. Also use it, and I can tell from my own experience, they are really good strategies with this adjustment. But I want to show you a third adjustment that is possible. You can also control your losses, of course, about the position size. There are different options for your position sizing. You can work, for example, with different take profits, where you reduce your positions the further the market gets. So for example, when we take this example, the market is making an upwards movement. You're entering the market here, and then it's reaching the next high. And you say, okay, you're gonna reduce the position here from, let's say we start with 4 positions. And as soon as you make a new high and the market moves down, you reduce to 3. And here you reduce to 2. And here you reduce to 1, for example. So when the market decides to drop, you're only in it with 1 position. And if you have used the trailing stop, for example, then you have saved your profits and are only giving away the profits of this last trade that you have already made. It's just a simple example, just to make clear what I mean. Because even if you leave enough room for the trade, let's say you put the trade break even after you have hit your first target here. Then you move the stop loss to break even. Then you have reduced to 3 contracts, then you hit take profit 2, you reduce to 2, and after take profit 3 you reduce to 1. So even if you wouldn't have moved your stop loss from here to leave enough room for the trade, because since we know in trading the markets don't always work as exact as we do in our trade analysis sometimes. It's not like the market listens to the workbooks, for example. So it could also happen that the market decides, I will take a different color to make it more clear. The market hits take profit 2, then maybe take profit 1, then maybe also take profit 2, but then drops a lot lower and goes back to the last low from before. But then the bulls take over again and the market pushes back up. So if you would have used a stop loss that you use as a trailing stop, you would be out of the market right here. But if you use, for example, only the stop to put it break even, then you leave enough room for the trade, but you also reduce the risks and the possible losses. Because since you have only one contract left after you have started with 4, and you have already cashed in this profit, then, or maybe also this one. So if the market crashes down, you're only giving away this possible last profit of the last contract. You have saved the ones before. So this is a really smart option for you to use position sizing as well to control your losses. 3 different examples that can really help you to improve your trading. But please keep in mind, if you do adjustments to your strategy, don't do all at once. This is not gonna work because you can't tell what each adjustment does to your strategy and in which profit changes it ends or results. So take a look at your strategy, analyze what could work best, then choose one and try that one, only that one for that time. And of course you have to try it for a representable amount of times. So you have always good phases in trading and not that well phases. So you have to go through all the phases and test your adjustment before you are able to tell if this is a good one or not. So please don't do the mistake after 5 trades that didn't work that well or didn't bring you improvement to throw away that idea. It's not a representative number of testings. 5 times or 5 trades don't tell you anything about your strategy and this adjustment that you have done. So always make sure you test one thing at a time and for a reasonable number of times. Only then you can be sure that this is gonna work or not. And of course, you want to be sure because then it's repeatable and brings you profits regularly. And this is what we want in trading. Take a look at your strategy, decide what you want to have a look at, and I'll bet it will be really good for your strategy and your trading development. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This is the end for today. And if you want to learn more and maybe also join my Telegram group where I have a free signals group, click now below this video and you'll find the link to join. I'll be happy to meet you there. Bye bye.